You are doing great. Hi, how are you? I hope you're having the best day ever. Today, I wanted to tell you about 5 different areas where you may be ahead of the curve when it comes to getting in charge of your finances. And if maybe you are struggling in these areas, this may give you some motivation, positive reinforcement to keep going. But first, if you're new around here, hello, my name is Lydia Senn and I make videos on frugal and simple living. We're a debt-free family of 6. We paid off $36,000 in 2 years on one income. That was back when we only had 2 little babies, and now we have more. And I share with you how to live a great life on a budget. So if you're into that, hit subscribe, like this video. Oh, there's my air conditioner. Thank the Lord, it's 85 degrees in April. Let's go. I'll give you statistics for each point that I make, and I'm gonna leave a link below so that you can read through these articles and see the sources for yourself. All my statistics are gonna be based out of the US because that's where I live, but I'm sure you can find these statistics where you live. So one of the ways to know that you are doing well with money is that you know what your take-home pay is. This actually surprised me. It's roughly half the population. So 45% of Americans do not know what their actual take-home pay is. They do not know how much tax is being withheld. Didn't know the last time that they had updated their withholding, and they weren't sure how much was being taken out of their check every month. And there's a couple ways that you can actually figure this out. 1, look at your pay stub. 2, call the payroll department in your company and see how much is being withheld, and then try to determine how much you actually need to have withheld every month or every paycheck. So it is tax season. You have until May 17th to file your taxes this year. And a lot of people get excited when they get a big refund. You know, personal finance is personal, and if you prefer to get a big refund, that's up to you. It's your money. However, that's a sign that you're having too much withheld every single paycheck, and you're letting the government hold your money interest-free, where you could be investing that, you could be putting it into high-yield savings, you could be paying off debt with it. There's a lot you could be doing with your money if you just get your withholding correct. The next point, which kind of goes with the first one, is you know how much money you're paying towards debt every month, or you know how much you owe to people. So 35% of the US population does not know how much money is going to debt every single month. They've not sat down and calculated out $540 out of each paycheck is going to pay for debt, or $1,380 from each paycheck is going to pay for debt. They just see it as a monthly payment, and they've never calculated the interest or how much they could save putting just a few extra dollars a month towards that debt. If you think that $5 doesn't have a big impact on your debt, oh boy, it does. So if you have a credit card debt of say $10,000, minimum payment is $200 a month, which is what it would be if you owed $10,000. And you put just an extra $5 a week towards that credit card, pay it off several months earlier and save yourself about $900 in interest just for $5 a week. But sit down today and figure out how much you're actually paying every single month towards debt. Come up with a plan to start paying that debt off. I have lots of videos about that, so if you're lost as to what to do, I got your back. Third tip is you know how much you spend each month. You are tracking your spending. You know where your money is going. You are on top of that spending. Then you are in a very slim margin of the population, because 65% of your fellow Americans don't know how much they're spending every month. I'm gonna be honest with you, there are lots of months that get away from me. I go through cycles where I am on top of things, I am on my game when it comes to my budget, I am tracking my spending, and then I have months where I'm like, what? I spent what now? How much on groceries? Ooh, okay, well let's reel it in and back it up and figure out how we can correct the course, because I don't want to spend that much every single month. So if you just simply take 2 weeks, if you are brand new to saving and you are brand new to budgeting, if you just take 2 weeks and track your spending, it will be so eye-opening. Just grab your phone, open the notes app in your phone. That's where I got my notes right now. Type in what you spend every day when you spend money and see where you can tighten up that spending, where you can fix some leaks in your budget, where you can cut areas where you might need to spend more. Be more realistic about your budget. Track it. Just 2 weeks. Just give me 2 weeks. I promise. It's going to be illuminating. Okay, number 4, you have a budget. Now, I was actually surprised by this statistic. It was lower than I thought it was going to be, but 38% of Americans do not have a budget. Now, of the 62% who do say they budget, how many of them are sticking to that? Well, if 65% don't know how much they spent, obviously not a lot. But I was pleased to see that it was just 38% of people who don't have some form of a budget. The only way a budget works, though, is if you work your budget. The only way you're going to stick to it is if you track it daily, give yourself a money minute, and a money minute is not hard. I simply grab the app I use to budget. I go on my bank account. I see what comes out, what's come out, what hasn't, what's going to come out this week. It takes literally 1 minute of my life. There are a couple budgeting apps that I like. I like Every Dollar. It's free. I like You Need a Budget. It's not free, but it's still a great app. And the team at YNAB is fantastic. Number 5, and this one's kind of sad. It's very sad in light of what's going on in the world. But you are current on your bills. If you are current on your bills, you are way ahead of a huge portion of the population. In fact, as a result of the pandemic, 1 in 10 Americans reported having past due bills. And younger generations, Gen Z, was actually the ones who were the furthest behind on their bills, the most likely to be. So people who are now in their early 20s, people who have either just graduated from school or are still in college, they're the most likely to be behind on their bills, because if you think about it, those were the ones who may have been hit the hardest. You're coming out of college and into the career force, and you're either entering a time right now where it's really hard to find a job, or you were the first one to lose your job. You're probably not making a ton of money to begin with, and you're saddled with student loans. And then the demographic right behind them were my fellow millennials who many of us graduated from college directly into a recession, or we were still in school during the recession, and then we're now raising children and this happens. And so it's been hard for a lot of families to get ahead. What is sad, though, was in this report, many of them didn't feel like they ever would get ahead. And that hopelessness is hard to bounce back from. And I was thinking about a video that I had made a couple years ago when I was working at Walmart. I was working in the produce department, and my job was to, almost dropped my phone. My job was to cull all the produce that was starting to go bad or had gone bad, go through it, weigh it, mark it to 0 in the system, and then shovel it into a trash compactor. So I worked from 4 in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon, or overnight. So I would be in the back room of Walmart shoveling rotten tomatoes into a trash compactor, listening to audiobooks on my headphones, even though I wasn't supposed to. But I mean, who was going to stop me? I was in the back of the store with a shovel. And I remember just feeling bad about where I was in life. Now, there's nothing wrong with working at Walmart. I'd go work there again if I needed to. Dignity in work, y'all. All work has dignity. All work has dignity. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. But I remember just feeling like I wasn't where I wanted to be in my career. I feel like I was on par with my peers. I felt behind and disappointed. And my parents came to visit me. They took me to IHOP during my lunch break, which was at 9 o'clock in the morning. So we met for breakfast. And my dad saying, "Do you remember the movie Shawshank Redemption? And do you remember when Andy Dufresne tells Red, you know, hope is a good thing, possibly the greatest, and a good thing never dies, and I don't want you to lose hope." And that's just stuck with me this whole time, that my dad just believed like things are going to get better for you. And they did. I ended up getting a job in the career that I wanted. We ended up getting out of debt. We moved. I started a business. We didn't lose hope. I realized that we were in a place of great advantage. I have parents who are encouraging me. My husband and I both have college degrees. You know, it's easy to talk about hope when you were like born on second plate. You know what I'm saying? So we're not all born on a level playing field. How many analogies can I use in this video? And you can't hope your way out of a situation. But once you lose hope, it's hard to get out of that situation. I hope that made sense. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. How are you? Where do you find yourself in this list? Are you behind in any of these areas? Are you catching up from the past year? Where are you? Also, it's okay wherever it is you are. It's not a race. It's not a competition, and you're not on anyone else's timeline. It is hard to be a human right now. It is hard to keep hope alive right now. It's just a hard time right now. So if you're listening to this video and you think, oh man, I'm behind on everything. No, you're not. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Start with what you have. Start with where you are and make a plan, and know your journey, are we on The Bachelor, isn't going to look like somebody else's, because you only have what you've been given. You only have what's in front of you to work with. So you're doing a good job, and I'm proud of you. All right, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Leave me a comment below and tell me how you're doing. And I'll see you soon.